Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Nickel notes, coin lovers, and treasure hunters. Today's journey takes us into the world of the 1957 1-cent coin of the United States of America known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny. This little copper coin may be just 1 cent in face value, but collectors know it represents so much more than small change minted during the closing chapter of the Wheat Penny era. The 1957 issue is historically important because it came just 2 years before the U.S. Mint changed the reverse design to the Lincoln Memorial. That transition marked the end of nearly 5 decades of the beloved wheat years design. Millions of people carried these coins in their pockets in the 1950s, buying newspapers, soda, candy, and bus rides. Today, collectors look at the 1957 penny not only for its value but also as a time capsule of post-war America and the end of a classic design that symbolized agriculture, growth, and American prosperity. Let's get started. Let's start with the design details. On the obverse, we see the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. To celebrate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, the motto in God, "We Trust," arches above Lincoln's head. Liberty rests to the left, and the year 1957 appears to the right depending on the mint of origin. You may also see a small D mint mark under the date standing for Denver. On the reverse, the classic to wheat stalks frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America with the pluribus unum at the top. Collectors often appreciate the crisp detail of the wheat lines in higher grades, as these details fade quickly in circulation when sharply struck. The reverse looks beautiful, showing the full agricultural symbolism that Brenner intended. Now about mintages. The 1957 penny was produced at 2 different mints. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, struck 282,540,000 coins. The Denver Mint, identified by the D beneath the date, struck a whopping 1,051,342,000 coins, over 1 billion. This was one of the largest wheat cent productions ever, reflecting the booming U.S. economy and heavy circulation demand at the time. Because of these huge numbers, the 1957 D is one of the most common wheat pennies today. However, just because they are common doesn't mean they aren't collectible. The Philadelphia coins tend to be a bit scarcer in higher grades, making them slightly more desirable to some collectors, while Denver issues are more plentiful but can still carry great value in pristine condition. Let's break down values. For most circulated examples that you might find in old change jars or coin rolls, a 1957 penny is worth between 3 and 10 cents. That may not sound like much, but remember, it's still 3 to 10 times its face value. Things get more interesting in uncirculated grades. A 1957 Philadelphia coin graded MS65, read by PCGS or NGC, can sell for $15 to $25, while a 1957 D in the same grade usually sells for $10 to $20. When we climb higher into MS66 and MS67, red prices jump significantly, with examples reaching $100, $200, or even more. The real stars are the top population coins, superb gems in blazing red condition, which have sold for over $2,000 at major auctions. So a coin that most people spent without a thought back in 1957 could be a serious prize if it was carefully preserved. Errors and varieties are where this coin gets exciting. The 1957 wheat penny has many collectible varieties, including repunched mint marks, RP missed double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, and clipped blankets. One famous example is the 1957 DRPM, where the Denver Mint mark appears doubled or shifted, creating a shadow-like effect. These can be worth anywhere from $25 to $150 depending on sharpness and grade. Dramatic off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, can fetch $100 to $500 depending on how off-center the strike is. A major double die variety, especially on the obverse date or lettering, would be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors love these error coins because they are unique products of the minting process and often far rarer than normal strikes. One of the most important factors for copper coins like this is color designation. Professional grading services categorize wheat pennies as BN brown, RB red brown, or road full red. A brown 1957 penny, even if uncirculated, may only be worth a few dollars, while a red brown example is worth more. The real premium is on full red coins, which shine with the original fiery luster that copper had when it was freshly struck. A 1957 DMS 67 brown might only bring $20, $30, but the same coin in blazing red can fetch several $100s. That's why collectors store their coins in protective holders to preserve as much of the original red luster as possible. The historical context of 1957 adds even more charm. America in the 1950s was a period of post-war prosperity, suburban growth, and the early Cold War. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, beginning the space race. Elvis Presley was at the top of the music charts, and automobiles with chrome and tail fins ruled the highways. A penny back then had real buying power. You could buy a stick of gum, part of a soda, or even start saving toward a newspaper. Today, that same penny doesn't buy anything, but its value to collectors lies in its ability to connect us with that era. When you hold a 1957 penny, you hold a genuine piece of mid-20th century American life. For collectors, the 1957 penny plays a special role. Even though it's considered a common date, it represents one of the very last wheat pennies ever produced. That makes it especially popular with those building complete date and mint mark sets. Beginners often start their collections with 1950s wheat pennies because they are affordable and easy to find, but seasoned collectors also hunt for them in the highest possible grades. Some even specialize in varieties, putting together collections of every RPM and double die known for the 1957D. Others chase only the top-graded red examples to add to registry sets, competing for the finest collections in the world. Auction history has proven that even common coins can bring big money if they are the very best. For example, a 1957 D Lincoln cent graded MS67 Plus RD has sold for close to $2,500 at heritage auctions. Another 1957 example with an unusual double die obverse fetched hundreds of dollars because of its status are everything in coin collecting. While most 1957 pennies might only bring a few cents, the top-end coins and rares can be true treasures hiding in plain sight. So what should you do if you have a 1957 1-cent coin? First, check for the mint mark, Philadelphia with no mark or Denver with a D. Then carefully examine the coin's condition. Is it worn, or does it still shine with its original copper color? Look closely for errors like doubled dates, odd mint marks, or unusual shapes. Even if your coin is only worth a few cents, it's still an affordable and charming piece of history worth keeping. And if you have a high-grade example or an error coin, you may have something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the story of the 1957 wheat penny. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more coin collecting guides and discoveries. Share in the comments if you have a 1957 penny in your collection. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your change always bring surprises.